What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the Rantin Review Pro Wrestling. We're reviewing today WWE's Day 1 that happened on Day 1 of the year 2022, January 1st. A lot of stuff shook up in this show. It turned out to be a far more interesting show than any of us thought going into it that night. But I want to get into that later on in this video. But right now, I want to remind you guys, this being YouTube, you can help out the YouTube algorithm because it needs your help by hitting the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. By doing so, you will let YouTube's algorithm let other people know about this video who may be interested in WWE Day 1 or sports entertainment in general, so I appreciate it very much. So going into the show, we got to talk about it right off the bat. About 6 o'clock yesterday on January 1st, Roman Reigns tweeted out and WWE put out a press release notifying us that Roman was not going to be on the show. He apparently has contracted COVID. Now, this is fairly serious because, as we all know, Roman Reigns has leukemia, and which makes him susceptible and highly susceptible to COVID in a very bad way. So, on a very serious note, we're hoping the best for Roman. He avoided being on WWE for a long time, remember, in 2020, because he didn't want to be exposed because he's at high risk. So, again, non-wrestling BS company that you like aside, let's all hope Roman is well and he gets through his COVID bout like a champ that he is. But on to less serious matters and the silliness of sports entertainment, let's talk about this pay-per-view. So WWE decided that because Roman wasn't going to be there, that they were going to shake up the whole thing. And I've always said this, when WWE does its best stuff is when they have to improvise. So what we wound up with was Brock Lesnar, who they apparently, they paid Brock a lot of money to make appearances on these shows. They weren't going to, pay him to do nothing. So he was thrown into the WWE Championship match that was already crowded in a four-way, now a Fatal Five-way, with Big E Langston defending his WWE Championship against Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, and the Beast, Brock Lesnar. So we'll get to that by the end of the video. But the show started off with a pre-show that was fairly decent. We had Cesaro and Ricochet. Wow, Ricochet, I haven't seen him wrestle in a long time. They were taking on Ridge Holland, who is the protege of his tag team partner, Sheamus. Now, this match was really weird because Cesaro flipped over Ricochet to do one of Ricochet's flippy moves, and Ricochet's foot landed right on Holland's face. So the face smashed the face of the heel and then got the heel taken out of the match, making the other heel the face in the match. But yes, Ridge Holland broke his nose, so they escorted him back to, there was blood all over the ring, so they escorted him back to the dressing room, which made it a handicap match, which is usually a face thing, but Sheamus was the heel, and Sheamus cleanly beat Ricochet and Cesaro by himself, which I don't know if this is going to translate into storylines in WWE, but again, it's another case of something improv turning out to be pretty cool because this match was actually pretty entertaining for a kickoff match. Then we get into the long-standing rivalry of the Usos and the New Day as they will once again battle for the Tag Team Championships. It's time the Smackdown World Tag Titles, the Usos defending. What can you say about it? Anytime the Usos and the New Day get into the ring, it's one of the things that WWE, as far as in-ring product is concerned, is absolutely best at. I don't know why they don't push tag team wrestling more. This match was fire, as they always are with these two teams. If there are matches on this card, I would say go out of your way to see. If you're not a WWE fan or you don't like, WWE doesn't have good in-ring work, this is one of the times where WWE has excellent in-ring work. This match is a must-see. The Usos wind up winning the match, retaining the tag titles, but once again, I would have to say that their rivalry is up there now with like the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express from back in the day, the Hart Foundation and the British Bulldogs from back in the day, Tully and Arn versus the Road Warriors, on and on again. Any classic tag team feud, the New Days and the Usos will go down in history as being one of the best tag team feuds over time of all time. But then we got into the type of WWE stuff that I absolutely cannot stand, which is Drew McIntyre versus, what is this guy's name? Madcap Moss. Now look, again, for those of you who are new to my channel, I don't watch weekly WWE TV, which means I don't watch Raw and Smackdown. Most of the stuff that I see from WWE is off the clips on their YouTube channel. And I have deliberately avoided any Happy Corbin Madcap Moss clips on YouTube. And my decision to do that was reinforced by this match, which was way too long. I don't know why Drew McIntyre is wrestling this guy. I don't know what this is. I didn't enjoy it. I stopped paying attention halfway through it. Drew McIntyre won the match. Afterwards, he got attacked by Happy Corbin and Madcap. The names. Even Booker T said the name is crap. But Madcap Moss. And that is apparently to write out Drew McIntyre, because Drew apparently does have a neck injury that he's going to be dealing with. So he's going to be off TV for an undisclosed amount of time. And another case of curious booking, the Street Profits were challenging RK Bro for the Raw Tag Team Championships. Now, the reason why I say it's curious is because this group, Migos, who is a hip-hop group, and you can tell I'm old. I know, you know when you get old, when you don't like the young people music. So I'm not big into modern-day hip-hop. Like, I fell out of hip-hop around 2015, not that long ago, but the recent hip-hop of the last 6 years is just not for me, because I'm old. But Migos, who is a fairly large hip-hop star, they, instead of coming out with the Street Profits, who are a kind of a urban hip-hop based tag team, that's their gimmick, come out with the two white guys. I hate to say it that way, but they came out with RK Bro, Matt Riddle, and Randy Orton, who, again, like I said, was one of the best tag teams of the year last year. The match itself was okay. It's a lot more Randy Orton than it is Matt Riddle on this thing, and Migos is at ringside, and they're doing commentary, and you know, it's a fun match. It's nothing really to write home about or go out of my way to see, but RK Bro wind up retaining the tag team championships after the whole thing with the tournament and everything, and the Street Profits lost, so okay. The Miz and Edge is a feud that I have seen, again, through YouTube clips, so I haven't seen like the full extent of it in real time, but from what I saw of it, it wasn't really doing anything for me. We all expected, I mean, even just with the clips I saw, I expected Beth Phoenix to show up. She did, even though she kind of looked like Tamina when she came out. I thought it was Tamina. And I was like, no, that's Beth Phoenix. Okay, she just looks like Tamina now. Okay, so she came out to help her husband near the end of this match. But this was a pretty damn good match, though, because even though the storyline building up to it was kind of meh, it's Edge, it's The Miz. These are seasoned veterans right now. They know how to have a good WWE style match, and that's what they had. They had a very good WWE style match. Another match I would suggest you going out of your way to watch on this show. Great ending with Beth Phoenix coming out. Unfortunate thing, though, is now we all know this is leading to an intergender tag match. Hopefully that happens at Royal Rumble, and they're not going to stretch this out to WrestleMania, but only time will tell. Becky Lynch defended the Raw Women's Championship against Liv Morgan. Now, Liv Morgan is somebody I remember years ago when she started on NXT and she had the tomboy kind of look going on. I was like, Liv Morgan, she's got something going on there. Many years later now, she's on the main roster and, you know, she's challenging the woman. Oh, by the way, I don't watch a lot of WWE Weekly TV. I didn't know they started calling Becky Lynch Big Time Becks. I think that's a great. Oh, the name is personally cute for me because I have a friend called Bex. So I just like the name Bex. So that's just a little quirk of mine. But Big Time Bex, Becky Lynch, she performed well. Becky Lynch showed why she's one of the best wrestlers, period, in the world right now. Because now she is in this new phase. She's no longer the chaser. She's no longer the up and coming superstar. She's the established star, and she's doing the established star thing the right way. She's trying to put over Liv Morgan, and she's playing this match off as if, oh my God, I should be able to beat Liv Morgan, but Liv Morgan is not staying down. She did that the entire match. This match, even though the match content isn't anything really, again, match of the year quality, it's not the intent. The intent is to help get Liv Morgan over, who's already somewhat over with a big portion of the WWE audience, but now she's even more over from having this great performance against Becky Lynch. And again, it's a lot to do also with Becky really putting over Liv by selling Liv's offense and selling the fact that she just couldn't put Liv Morgan away. Now, the ending was a little bit botched because Becky was supposed to put her foot on the rope to get the win. She was too far away from the ropes. She reached out and to get it, but it really didn't matter. I think everybody got the point that Liv Morgan is more than enough for Becky Lynch to handle, and given another year or so, Liv Morgan's probably going to wind up beating Becky Lynch. She's not quite there yet, but she's getting there. And in the main event, this big confusing mess, which started out as a match where Seth Rollins was supposed to be challenging Big E for the WWE World Championship. It has now turned into a Fatal Five-Way. A Fatal Five-Way match is so convoluted. So we get everybody making their entrances. I did notice, unfortunately, Big E as the champion did not come out last. Brock came out last, which I thought was a bit disrespectful. I thought they should have had Big E come out last. But the match itself was fantastic. This is, when I say sports entertainment style, WWE sports entertainment style can be very good if it's done the way it should be done. And this match is an example of the way it should be done. WWE likes big guys and noise. So what you had in this match was 10 minutes of big guys and noise, hitting big moves, hitting F5s and Suplex City and spears and power bombs and clotheslines. Then you had the smaller guys in the match, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, teaming up, and they were hitting big high spots. So it was basically, it's a big guy spot fest, to really be honest, is what this match was. But it worked because that is what WWE is designed to do best. I said this years ago with the whole Brock Goldberg match at WrestleMania, why that, ironically enough, was the best match of that WrestleMania, because it was 7 minutes long and it was just two big guys in a big car crash, which this Fatal Five-Way was. The great thing about it too is I have wanted to see Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar face off against each other. They did in this match. They touched a couple times, but you could tell they were saving it. There was no big stare down, which I thought they were going to do. They really didn't do the stare down between these two big behemoths. But at the end of the match, it was Brock Lesnar, who wasn't even supposed to be in the match until like 2 hours before the show. They put the world title back on Brock Lesnar. Lesnar pins, and it wasn't even a fluke. He legitimately cleanly pinned Big E after hitting an F5 in the middle of the ring. So there was no, you didn't pin the champion. No, he pinned the champion and became the WWE World Champion. Now, it does seem that they're leaning towards a Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar match for the title. That's probably going to be Royal Rumble, I would assume. But they left the match with Lashley looking at Lesnar and Lesnar laughing back at Lashley. So that seems to be where it's going to go. And of course, Big E, I expect to get a main event. So I think it'd be good if they can get Big E against Brock on a big Raw. That would be a big time Monday Night Raw that I might actually tune into and want to see live and not on YouTube. And Lashley against Lesnar and the Royal Rumble, again, one of the few dream matches that exist in WWE that we haven't seen yet. I want to see that one, and if that's coming up at Royal Rumble should be pretty good. So as far overall speaking, day one had a lot of good stuff coming out of it. However, there was that other half of the show, like I said, that was the stuff they had planned to do, which is all the middle of the card. The Happy Corbin, Drew McIntyre, the rap group, and which was all kind of pedestrian, and it's kind of the stuff that doesn't really grab me. But I would say, if you want, what I would suggest is not to watch the whole show, but definitely watch the Usos and the New Day. Edge and Miz was good, and the main event was 10 minutes of just car crash. Again, what WWE does it right, that is what WWE does right. I would definitely watch that match for the main event. You kind of got to feel bad for Big E. There's a guy that used to comment on my channel. I've since blocked him because he started getting racist with the stuff. But he kept insisting that I was like a big mark for Big E. You probably think Big E is over. I didn't think Big E. Actually, I don't know if Big E was over or not. I've heard that he wasn't. I don't watch weekly WWE TV, so I didn't know if Big E was over or not. It's hard to tell on these pay-per-views too, because for some reason on the pay-per-views, they're still pumping in crowd noise. So I couldn't tell whether or not Big E was over, because clearly they pumped in crowd noise for him. They pumped in crowd noise for Becky. They pumped in crowd noise for Brock. In fact, it was so bad, there's at one point where Brock is coming out, they have a shot of the crowd, and the audio is all this big roar, but the crowd that they're showing, nobody's mouth is open and everybody's sitting down. That is the word. Stop pumping crowd noise. Stop pumping crowd noise. You can do it on tape shows when you do it strategically, but stop pumping crowd noise into the live shows. It just is another one of those things that makes the show feel artificial, and it takes me out of the experience. And as much as I enjoyed the main event, Miz and Edge, and the opening tag match, those moments of fakeness just hurted. And I say the same thing about AEW's Rampage show on Fridays, where they pump crowd noise into the tape shows. It takes me out of it. Stop doing that stuff. It's not 1989 anymore. Everybody knows it's pumped in crowd noise. You're not fooling anybody. Stop doing it. Outside of that, that's my opinions on day one from WWE. Again, it was better than I thought it was going to be, and I told you guys the matches I suggested you watch, but I want to know from some of you guys out there, were there other matches that you liked that I didn't cover or didn't like in this show? Did you watch the show at all? Did you not watch the show? What do you think about them putting the world title back on Brock Lesnar? What are your hopes for Roman Reigns? What do you think they're going to do with Roman Reigns when, hopefully he recovers quickly from COVID and he comes back? So now are we going to do Roman and Brock again? Are they going to be having a champion versus champion match at WrestleMania? Are they possibly going to be unifying the titles? I hope so. I don't think they're going to do it, but I hope they do. Let your voice be heard in the comment box below. Where do you think Big E goes from here? A lot of questions coming out of this show, which is a good thing for WWE pay-per-view, that actually has me interested now in, well, where are they going to go from here? Not so much that I'm going to watch 3 hours of Raw on Monday, but enough that I will check out the YouTube channel on Tuesday to see the clips. But I want to know what you guys think again. Let your voice be heard in the comment box below. I will see you guys soon for more news, rumors, and reviews here on the Rant and Review Pro Wrestling. Have a good day.